Okay, today I have a Aspire 5251 slash 1513. I'm going to replace the LCD screen which broke when I dropped it, or when it was pulled off the table, I should say. So I've done a few things already. I've taken a couple of screws out and I've loosened stuff, and so I want to go back and show you what I did. Um, there's two screws here and here that have to be removed, and there's like a little rubber uh, circle that's glued over the screws. So you pull this. I pulled the screws off with an X-Acto knife and took those two screws out, and you go around the bedazzle and pull it apart, and it pulls straight out from the screen, and then you gently lift it back and then pull it up. If you can see that, and pull it up out of the bottom, and then you have the plastic off. You set that aside, and there's several screws down the sides on this model that hold the LCD screen in. So I already removed those, but you can take those screws out and then fold down the LCD. But right here at the top where your webcam wire is, you have to hold on to the wire because there's a little bit of glue on the back, and it's glued at two different places. And then just lay it down on the keyboard. At that point, there's going to be this ribbon wire that's with a 40-pin connector that's connected to your screen, and there's a real stubborn piece of tape that holds it on there, and the tape is really hard to get off. It's sticky as all get out, and you can pull the tape off, and I recommend not cutting it off. I actually cut it off. I would actually leave it on there if you can get it off without cutting it. I cut mine off because I couldn't get it off, and then on the ribbon wire you pull it back away from the LCD, and then there's a little bit of glue that sticks it to the LCD, and then you remove the LCD, the broken one. And I ordered my new screen online, which I'll provide the web page for, and it's got like a plastic cover on it, so you can set it down. I guess if it doesn't have a plastic cover, you should probably lay some type of protective film down or something. So I pulled the tape where I can get to it for that protective screen, and then you need to attach the ribbon wire. Let's see if I can do this. And it just slides in the slot the same way as it slid out. Obviously, looking for a plastic tool to help slide it on. I have a cell phone tool kit, and it's a plastic little slider, and I'm gonna try to use it to make sure that the pin connector is together. When you get it together, you can see, if you don't break it. It's a little bit tricky. I don't mean to block the camera. With that tape, you probably could have pulled it on a little easier, so it'll be easier to keep the tape on rather than remove it, because the tape would help you in this part. So I don't know if you can see that or not. It looks like it's not all the way on, because there's a little gap at the left-hand side. I'm going to use my magnifying glass to get a better look. Make sure. If I had that tape on there, I could pull it on a lot easier. So there, I think I have it. I think I have it stuck on there right, and I'm just going to use a piece of box tape to put back over it. That'll hold it in place while I put the screen back on. So there's a little groove here that the wire has to go into, and that way it doesn't get pinched, and that's pretty important. I think that wire doesn't get messed up. So it's a little bit tricky to get the wire in there. I think I have it. I have it. Then slide it into the slot, holding the pieces of tape out. And in the hole. And then the screws can go back in. They're tiny little screws. So I got one in. I'm going to go to the other side and try to get the other top one in. It's not the best arrangement for working on a computer, I don't think, but There's the second screw. So hopefully the others line up pretty well after the second. Or after the, yeah. Excuse me. It'd help if you had a magnet screwdriver as well, which I don't have. It would be much easier to try to hold the screws while you put them in place. It's probably easier not videoing it as well, because I could be turning the computer around rather than trying to walk around the table. Okay, at this point I have 4 screws in. I'm going to remove the plastic sheath that's protecting it. I think there was 3 on each side. Okay, so the screen is in and all the wires I hope are connected correctly and in the slot. And at this point it's time to put the covering back on. But instead of snapping that into place, I'm going to first put the battery in and power it up to make sure that the 40 pin connector, which I had problems with, is actually connected properly. You'll see ya. So I'm going to power up and see if I got that 40 pin connector ribbon tape connected properly. Come on, baby. Show me something. Which it looks like I probably didn't, because I don't have anything. Well, that doesn't supposed to happen in the video. But if it does, you know what you have to do is take it back apart and remove the ribbon cable and reattach it and make sure that it's all the way in, because apparently it's not all the way in. So I'm gonna stop the video and figure out what I did wrong and try to correct it.